Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Trey Galyon is here. Hello, Trey.
Hi, Keith and Chemda.
I got to get right to the news. The great Paul Stanley from Kiss came out with a statement that's rubbing me the wrong way. Now, I'm not comparing Kiss to Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones, but it was one of the bands I got into because of somebody from school.
Sure.
In the early days, I had all the albums. They have 22 studio albums. Back then, they were easily in the double digits. I loved collecting them. I loved the covers.
Yeah, they're like Guar, but for mainstream.
Yes. Yeah. Well, out of nowhere, no one asked him. Paul Stanley tweeted out, "My thoughts on what I'm seeing. There is a big difference between teaching acceptance and normalizing and even encouraging participation in a lifestyle that confuses young children into questioning their sexual identification as though some sort of game, and then parents in some cases allow it."
I'm sorry, was that a sentence? Would you
Right, it did sound weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it was me.
Okay.
And from the guy who's played dress up for the majority of his life.
Yes. Yeah, so much of that. Motley Crue was like, that's a lot of makeup.
Yeah, I'm not following what he's saying. I mean, I think he's trying to say like maybe young kids, but even still, like,
well, that's what transphobes are saying, but that shit isn't even happening. There's a big
first off,
difference.
it's none of your fucking business, dude.
There's a big difference between, by the way, don't you have a final tour? Think what's going to happen when he finally does that final tour. You can't even calm down right now. There's a big difference between teaching acceptance and normalizing and even encouraging participation in a lifestyle that confuses young children into questioning their sexual identification as though some sort of game, and then parents in some cases allow it. There are individuals who as adults may decide. Thank God those songs are like 3 words long a sentence, right? Because God damn, this is hard. There are individuals who, as adults, may decide reassignment is their needed choice, but turning this into a game or parents normalizing it as some sort of natural alternative, or believing that because a little boy likes to play dress up in his sister's clothes or a girl in her brother's, we should lead them steps further down a path that's far from the innocence of what they are doing. Okay.
All right. You really thought about this. Wow. He takes quick shits. No time for grammar.
With many children, but it's also one of those. It's also one of those pictures. You know, sometimes it's like I have more thoughts than the rest, so I'll rate it in notes and put it as a picture.
Oh God.
With many children who have no real sense of sexuality or sexual experiences, caught up in the fun of using pronouns and saying what they identify as, some adults mistakenly confuse teaching acceptance with normalizing and encouraging a situation that has been a struggle for those truly affected and have turned it into a sad and dangerous fad.
Okay. I really think with all of this writing, there should be more somehow where they go, and this is how they're doing it, you know? And they're like, oh, you're teaching kids how to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't, nowhere in that is teaching kids. And I'm so sick of what about the kids? When you don't want us to smoke weed, it's what about the kids? When you don't want us to drink alcohol, it's what about the kids? When you don't want to, I don't know, when you are feeling asexual, what about the kids? Can we divide this up into abusive parents and queer subjects? Because anytime somebody is giving a child what we rightfully need or want in our adult lives, that you can question that. But it's such a separate issue. What about the kids? No one's talking about the kids. We're talking about adults.
Yeah. Desmond Child just wrote to Paul Stanley and said, "Hey, I'm the writer. Okay, calm the fuck down." Yes, this is you're marginalizing this whole identity. It's been around for cultures and centuries. To call it took me like 18 times to read this. I'm like, I don't like it, but I don't know why. And then I figured out why. And it's because it's not a fad. You're reacting to moral panic of something that's not happening. No one is telling little boys that they're trans because they like a doll. It simply isn't happening.
Look,
but what if it is? Look,
but it's not though.
But if it is, it's one person. You know, a lot of
and it's not even that. And it's not even that.
We would like to believe that parents are not giving their children booze, but some parents are. We would like to believe that some
Right.
parents are not passing weed to their kid, but some parents are.
Some.
Those are different punishments because they're different crimes.
Yeah, the other day somebody wrote in and they said, I don't like that you say the country's 50-50. That, my feelings, and then you have a more right-wing feelings out there. And they're like, it's just because people don't vote. And I'm like, well, you're really hoping for the best. But what a fucking surprise that it's a Paul Stanley who, only in America, and you're selling kiss coffins that can double as an ice chest if you want to use it when you're alive. What side do you think he'd be on when it comes to, you know what I mean? I can't say I'm surprised. It was just better when I didn't know.
What were you going to say, Trey? I totally bulldozed you.
No, that's cool. It's like you were saying, it's taking a small issue and blowing it up, like the border thing, or fentanyl is ruining our kids now too, or it's just this other talking point where it's like, sure, I understand there's parents out there that maybe push their kid in a certain way because they see their kid as a fashion accessory, but that's such a small portion of parents in general. The kids are going to figure it out, just parent them as normal. Like, I wanted to be 20 different things even up until I was in college. It kept changing what I wanted to do. So it's the same thing with kids. They work stuff out. And yeah, we all tried on our mom's or dad's clothes. And then you're like, yeah, ladies have dope shoes, but they're really impractical. Like,
when did you try that?
Around in these.
When
I was a kid,
that?
when I was like, that was in elementary school. So that was early on. So that was like 6, 7, 8 years old, probably. Right. Messing around in the parents' closet, and
it didn't make you feel sexy.
Oh, dude,
right.
Jeans and t-shirts are way more comfortable and cool.
Can we just start wondering why we even are wearing those other things, right?
Paul's just saying, what is more important than the children? 16, Christine. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, you wrote it in 1977. I don't know how that's a fucking pass, but you don't got to put it on a 2000 album called The Very Best of Kiss. Christine, yeah, right? 16. She drives me crazy. I want to give her what I've got, and she's hot every day and night. There is no doubt about it. Then Gene Simmons flat out talks. I don't usually say things like this to girls your age. Christine, 16. But then I saw you coming out of the school that day. That day I knew. I've got to have you. I've got to have you. Christine, 16. She's been around, but she's young and clean. I've got to have her. Can't live without her. Whoa, no.
Dude, it's just like all of 70s rock was so child rapey.
But like, okay.
All underage girl songs.
You're so going extra when you're like, when I saw you coming out of school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely the younger side, not the senior high.
That's the middle school. That's the junior high.
I know you're too young to be valedictorian, so you'll never tell me what to do.
And he called her clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's so young and clean.
Oh, that's
have her.
Honestly nauseating.
It doesn't even rhyme. He just had to get it out. She drives me crazy. I want to give her what I've got, and she's hot every day and night. There is no doubt about it. You didn't even rhyme it. You just got to get out the fucking facts. She's been around, but she's young and clean. I've got to have her. Can't live without her. Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, my God. What about the kids? He has the answer.
Yeah.
What about the kids? Pick them up from school.
Well, and then he's like, hey, man, but I'm being hetero there. I'm totally being hetero. Right. I was not in doubt of my sexuality.
Wow.
Well, I want to know
teaching somebody to be queer there. I'm teaching them to be hetero.
Right. I'm not making up my real opinion until I know how the cat thinks. What does the Egyptian Ankh think? What's his opinion? I'm curious. Jesus Christ. What makes you? I mean, you got to stand up, I guess, for what you believe in, but what the fuck makes you type this without Googling something?
Well, again, or like, yeah, okay, that's your opinion, I guess. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
No, they're not. Right? Stop that, Trey. In fact, that's what my stand-up was just about. Everyone is not entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, that
That's the
doesn't
pro-
mean you have to go spreading it though, because falls under it's none of your business. So then you don't need to put that out in public. If you want to say that at the dinner table with your family, fine. Otherwise, it's none of your business. Those aren't your kids. So what do you care? Like, stop it right there. It's
Margaret
not
is
your kid,
saying this
so
is
not your
ruining
problem.
karaoke for me.
right.
So bad.
Oh, well,
You know,
just do
sometimes
the Gene Simmons songs.
sometimes I sing along to songs and I'm like, whoa, I know all these lyrics, but I was never conscious singing them. And then all of a sudden you're paying attention to the words and you're like, these are the fucking words that I've memorized. They're all in my head.
Oh, yeah,
and I
man.
didn't know what they were. I'm just doing sounds coming out of my face.
Well, I was never confused that I was young and what Christine 16 meant.
I
You know?
was. I was. She's only 17 and the 16-year-old.
Winger.
It only meant to me that when I was 16, I was an adult in terms of like dealing with young men, adult men, older men. It's when I was 12, people were catcalling. Like as soon as you have boobs. So when I was 16, I didn't think it was crazy that adults were hitting on me. It was normal. Look at the songs that we had.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at
and it was normal. They normalized
was normal.
society into that's what I'm saying. The 70s, like Ted Nugent, has some underage rapey songs.
Sure.
But then like all the groupies, and they were all singing about the groupies, and all the groupies were all underage girls and everything too,
and
Like,
that's
yeah.
okay to normalize, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
even saying go back and make it Christine 18.
No.
I'm saying to put it on the very best of Kiss is an interesting choice.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
just to record it, period.
Well, sure, I agree with that, but all right, I'm not saying hide the history. Hank Azaria, he played Apu on The Simpsons. He
Yeah.
regrets being Apu. And I'm not saying go back and get rid of Apu. Just recognize now that Apu got kids beat up.
But is that fair to the actor?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
don't
the
think that's
actor?
fair to-
Or
Hank
is
you
it-
don't have to
Azaria? Hank
apologize
Azaria is
for
the actor.
anything.
Hank Azaria is the actor.
Is that fair to the actor?
What do you mean? He's
That
saying
he-
he's saying he regrets it.
I don't understand what he's regretting. He's regretting the work that he did on The Simpsons, that he got a part and he played it, the parts that were available to human beings at the time.
Right.
I think that's
I don't think that's another one where it's a case where like, come on, man, this is The Simpsons. Like they weren't trying to be malicious,
but maybe
was
they
a-
were, and they got some stuff wrong, and we figured out some shit, and we figured it out. But they were making fun of everything there.
Well, I don't think he's whipping himself. He's just saying, yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, and then all the 80s movies where it's just gay and fag constantly.
I don't know. I don't know that I would say I regret doing that. I regret launching my
Right.
career. I regret having a job.
I could say regretting it. You just regret it. There's stuff in my early albums that I guess I regret. I'm not whipping myself over it. I'm just saying, yeah, shouldn't have said that.
Well, God bless him, if he had the foresight back then to be like, you know what? I don't want this role. I think you guys should get somebody that's actually Indian to play this role.
Who's doing that? And
Right.
no, thank you, Simpsons.
He ran, of course, the Indian American character he played. He ran the Quickie Mart. The Quickie Mart job, of course, kept Apu from his wife and his 8 kids. He was called out in 2017 when Harry Kondabalu, he's been on this show, he did a documentary, The Problem with Apu.
Yeah.
And now Hank Azaria finally showed up on Harry's podcast. So they talked for the first time about it.
I believe it's Hari.
Hari, what am I saying?
Harry.
I'm
Like
trying
Harry
to
Shearer.
Americanize him so everybody's comfortable.
I thought it was Hari.
It's
Hari
it's Hari.
Kondabalo.
Yeah, we did our best. H. Kondabalu.
Dude, he was in Houston. Last time I did the secret group, he was in the big room. I was in the black box, and way more people went to see him and his Apu hating. It was funny. There was like groups of Indian people that would walk into the black box, and I'd be like, thanks for coming, but I think you're here for Hari Kondabolu, and that's on the other side.
He's huge, and his stand-up is great. He's
Yeah,
very
he's really
funny.
funny.
He's very smart. I wouldn't target the actors that played the roles that I didn't like.
Well, he did. Hari said, if I saw Hank Azaria do that voice at a party, I would kick the shit out of him, he said at the time.
What? How is
Of-
that okay? What, your violence?
Because he got the shit kicked out of him. So he's like, you have to
By
know what you're
who?
doing.
By who?
What do you mean by who?
By an actor playing a role?
Oh no, he's saying he got teased because of the poo cat. What, like
Yes.
people beat him up and called him a poo
Yes.
while they were beating him?
Yes.
Oh, those are bad people.
Azaria was in his 20s when he first started voicing characters on the primetime cartoon show.
Mhm.
One of the producers said, hey, can you do an Indian accent? He said, the only one I knew was from 7-Eleven. So I gave it a go. He said another Indian voice he heard was from Peter Sellers. So, that would have been over the top and offensive. Peter Sellers in the movie The Party happened to be in brownface, 1968 film. He also confessed that he was afraid to talk to Kondabolu about the issue and dodged his request to be part of the documentary. I can understand doing that. I'd be like, can I see the documentary first? Like, what if it's quite frankly, a stupid documentary and me being on it makes it a big deal?
Also,
Right.
why do I have to talk about my character still? Like, I don't understand. I got
Well,
a
they
role.
stopped because of this. They stopped. He stopped doing the voice anyway.
That's fine. That's different than going back. Azaria saying, take my accent out of your mouth.
Azaria admitted that he now finds his casting embarrassing and acknowledged how his character fed into the broader dehumanization of Desi people in the United States. He claimed that he didn't understand the extent of the issue until he realized that Apu had become a slur. He heard about a Middle Eastern man who was called Apu as he was being attacked in his store. I helped to create a pretty marginalizing, dehumanizing stereotype. This was something that Kondabolu was already aware of. Kondabolu had worked at the Queens District Attorney's Hate Crimes Bureau during college after 9/11. He often read reports involving Apu and his catchphrase, "Thank you, come again." The podcast is called Code Switch. You can hear it there. Since Azaria stopped voicing the character, Apu has been mostly sidelined from the longtime show.
Well, but look at all the characters on The Simpsons. It's not like Homer is glorifying white suburban fathers, or Moe is, this shining example of a bar owner.
But it's funny to be
they're
them.
all a bunch
Like
of
if they go, look at you,
chuds.
you just pulled a Homer. It's like, aren't I an idiot? Oh, you're like, I mean, drinking's still cool. Oh, you drink too much and little kids prank you. Okay, I don't know. It's no one gives a shit about that.
I'll tell you what,
I
cops
wouldn't.
didn't get respected. Blue lives did not matter on that show. The cop was a
Right.
pig. He was an
Yeah,
actual pig.
literally. Yeah.
That I'm good with.
Yeah, sure, you're good, but these are people risking their lives, and they're usually children. Oh my God, now that I'm 47, all cops are children because they retire by the time they're my age.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm walking up to, like, you see them on the subway or, pulling people over, and they're children walking up to people's windows, just like, what did you do wrong? Oh no,
Yeah,
did
I
I
don't have
just
to
do a
talk to
cop
you.
accent? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right. Hey, you don't have to talk to the cops, everybody, and you don't have to show them your ID unless
Okay, white
you're,
guy.
of course, driving or, yeah.
Do you guys think he should have kept doing the voice even now?
That's not what
No,
I'm
that's fine.
saying.
Right.
I'm saying, like, I don't know that I can have beef with the actor who did the voice, who did the fucked up accent, who did the fucked up saying shit, like, especially at the time where, this was being passed by multiple people, including lawyers. So you think you're on the right side, you think you're doing a job, you think you're putting on an accent because in acting school or when you do acting, you put on a character and a voice. So you think you're doing that. I don't think the actors are who we go against.
Well,
Who wrote that? Who wrote the part? Who perpetuated it? Who pushed it further? And when that person realized that this is creating a terrible atmosphere, which I don't think we could just blame that thing, but when it's perpetuating, when it's growing, when it's not helping this cause, and they take it down and take it away, then they're learning and growing and moving. So I don't know what we want with this actor.
It's an animated series. It's a cartoon character, everybody. It's just a cartoon character with a bunch of that performs with a bunch of other cartoon characters.
I can't tell if you're saying it was wrong or not, though.
It's the character I don't think is wrong. No, because look at all the other like I said, look at all the other characters in that show. They're all exaggerations of the worst thing. Apu is actually probably one of the better people in terms of character in that show. Like, isn't he? He's a hero in a couple of episodes, I'm pretty sure. Just as far as like, you know, he's Apu. He wants to do the right thing.
I honestly have to rewatch it because I don't remember him being the stupid character.
No!
I do remember him being a simple character, and that's what we were racist against specifically for Indian people. Like you just sound stupid because you have an accent. Meanwhile, you know,
Homer's dumb as shit.
But that's his character. He is dumb. We're okay with people having like that dumb character. He's not putting on a Middle Eastern accent or saying like all Middle Easterners are like
to me,
this.
that's just an accent. Like, I don't think
that guy's
Apu
well
sounded
represented.
dumb in the show. You know, I don't think his character was made to be dumb or, you know,
Homer?
That doesn't make sense.
You'll know if Homer's character was made to be dumb.
Apu.
No, Apu.
Oh,
Homer's
okay,
was
okay.
totally, of
Okay.
course. That's the point of his character.
Steven Spielberg is saying that he regrets editing out the guns in ET and making them walkie-talkies. He says he shouldn't have done that. Yeah, he went back for the 20th anniversary, and when the FBI is chasing down ET before he flies on the bike, there's guns, and now they're walkie-talkies, which I don't know if that means, are they walkie-talkies? Everybody's just pointing the walkie-talkies at ET. I don't know. But he regrets it. That was a mistake, he said. I never should have done that. ET is a product of its era. No film should be revised based on the lenses we now are, either voluntarily or being forced to peer through. I agree.
That sentence.
Yeah, I agree.
That.
George Lucas, his buddy, had recently shoved a pointless singing alien, says this newspaper article, into the re-release of Return of the Jedi and changed the actor playing the ghost of Anakin Skywalker to the Star Wars prequels Hayden Christensen. You're a big Star Wars fan, Trey.
Yeah.
Have you watched the re-releases and were you like, holy shit, you put a new actor for the ghost? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Was it weird?
Totally.
Like, what are you doing?
Of course it was weird because again, you've seen this one version so many times, and then all of a sudden, any small change like that's going to be super noticeable. And of course, I mean, yeah, of course they didn't have Hayden Christensen in the original because he was probably like, if it was even born when that one originally came out. You know,
Azaria is saying the woman who played Bart should regret playing a little boy then.
Well, you know, maybe Nancy Cartwright, maybe there's something we don't know.
Well, Nancy Cartwright already got put through the ringer when The Simpsons first came out, you know, and they were like, oh, this Bart character is teaching young boys how to be bad and everything. And so then she had to make the rounds on the talk shows and be like, hey, we're cool.
But then this newspaper goes a little too far. Then they go, they're trying to, you know, make everything woke. Recently, a trigger warning was put out about Gone with the Wind, which was adapted from one of the greatest, let's see. Recently, a trigger warning was put before Margaret Mitchell's 87-year-old book, Gone with the Wind, which has already been adapted into one of the most popular movies of all time. You could do that. I'm fine with that, adding a page before the book or a movie, having a little thing like, hey, this is outdated warning. That doesn't change what you're going to fucking see.
Because every movie has trigger warnings now of some type, you know,
Right.
whether it's like flashing lights or, you know, foul language or whatever. Every movie you see in the top left corner before the movie starts.
That's a rating.
Warning. That's a trigger warning.
That is your trigger warning. The fact that it's from not this year is a trigger warning.
Watch the trailer first, dum.
Or don't, but it's your trigger. It's your trigger. There are things in here that make your life triggered.
Right.
And if you are being triggered, sometimes, not always, sometimes it is the problem of the movie. Sometimes it's your problem. Go deal with it. It's not always the movie's problem. There's so much violence in movies. And I have to look for it. There's violence in this movie. And if I get triggered by that violence, it's in the fucking movie. What do you want to do? Not have violent movies because Chemda can't handle it? Also, can somebody talk to Adam Sandler? Because he did a whole fucking movie with Israeli accents coming out of different people's mouths. Not one of them was accurate. Not one. Maybe one. Now,
Yeah, but he's Jewish, so it's okay.
Right? Because he's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So he's from where I'm from, right?
Right.
That's cool. It's not Sony, it's Sony parts. Oh, is that a joke that I understood? Is there anyone Israeli in your life, Adam Sandler? No, but he got some of that shit right. It was very stereotypical, very fucked up, very like anti-immigrant, like all this shit. But it was funny. It could have been 5-10 minutes.
Did you just mention?
I really need to work on a Puerto Rican accent.
Did you mention don't mess with the Zohan? You're like, it was very funny.
It's not. It wasn't. No.
Finishing these movies because I have no idea what you're talking about.
It had the parts that were offensive, were trying to be funny. And when they didn't land, I didn't think it was just more offensive. I thought the writing was silly. I thought you're trying to take one stereotype and make it into a movie because you like doing Israeli accents with your friends. Okay. It doesn't have to be banned. It could just be a bad movie.
Actor Matthew Lawrence. He was in Boy Meets World somehow. No
Sure.
offense, I just don't know. He claimed that he was dropped by his agency. This is very recent. After he refused to strip for an Oscar-winning director who was reportedly offering him a role in an upcoming Marvel film. Now, I've seen these Marvel films. In case Hamda doesn't know, not too much full nudity in those.
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm not.
The tree, but that's.
You do have to fit into those latex, though. So
That sounds made up, dude.
You think it's not true?
I think it's not true. Matthew Lawrence, brother of Joey Lawrence, little brother of Joey
correct.
Lawrence.
Whoa.
Oh.
But yeah, what's the latest thing you saw him in? And that accusation, I mean, that this might sound bad, but that accusation coming from him right now, that's like you're late to the party, dude.
Wait, what's the accusation? What happened?
That a director wanted him to strip
Yes.
in front of him.
Can't say someone's late in the accusation. It doesn't matter when they come out, right?
No, but if he was trying to jump on that bandwagon of all of the Hollywood people, that's why I made that face before I started saying it, because I was running through, my brain was getting ahead of my mouth and was like, hey, you're going to run into a problem here in a minute. So
do you think that's why he didn't name who the director was?
It just sounds like his publicist was like, hey, man, you haven't been in the news in a while. Let's
Oh, who would want to be in the news?
His
for
publicist said do that?
Him, because he hasn't been in anything.
But the agent dumped him. His agency dumped him. Is the PR agent like, shit, I didn't know it would turn out so bad?
Yeah, man, and we'll get somebody else to. Oh, I see what you're saying.
His agency dumped him because he wouldn't do this for the director.
Oh,
so the agency probably didn't make it up.
I don't know, man.
Also, Trey, hold on, Trey. Hold on. Before
this is Trey's feelings. You're good, Trey. I like it.
Before
dude, what kind of agent?
Trey, time out.
Trey's trying to talk, Kenda. Go ahead. Agent. What kind of agent?
His agency wouldn't have dropped him if it was true.
All right. Okay.
Right.
There you go.
There has never been a time.
Otherwise, he's getting ready to get paid.
There has never been a time where someone claimed that they were sexually assaulted in this industry and then leveled up their career. There has not been a person who managed to do that. Name a person who leveled up, who suddenly got work and recognition and respect and money when they said, so-and-so asked me to be naked, so-and-so asked me to touch me. It is always that person's career is now the only thing that comes up in their career is this assault.
Trey didn't say it was a good plan.
It's never worked out, and no PR would ever ask you to do that. They ask you to cover it more than they ask you to say it. It's not a good move. It's never been a good move, and that's why we call them brave, because we know it's a shit move to have to go through. Because not only do you have to admit it, you have to admit it to the world, and people go, great timing. I guess you want a career. Not one career. Name an actor. I don't know how to name a lot of actors. I don't know actors' names, but I don't think that's how Tom Cruise got, or some kind of, I don't know who came back because somebody touched them wrong. Not anyone I could
Cruise,
think
it was
of.
because of Scientology.
That I'll give you. That I'll give you. That'll level you up tons. Big believer in that. Absolutely. I don't know where your soul is if you had one to begin with, but yes, your career will do better.
And how naked are we talking here?
He just said he didn't say how naked, but he said it's understood pretty full on.
The kind of naked that makes agents drop you. How about that?
Right. He refused to strip. That's all. I don't know if it doesn't sound like it was just the chest. You know, you do have to see, if you're a guy, you do have to have a muscular chest to be in those Marvel movies. It sounds like it was more.
No, they can make one of them molded suits for you.
He'd been propositioned by directors, both men and women, several times for a major role in various films, he said. Mm-hmm. He was on the podcast Brotherly Love, his podcast. Lawrence, who did not give a specific name or location regarding the incident, claimed that he is not the only man to whom this has happened to. I would name names. If you're naming it, I would name it.
Right. Yeah. If
you just got fired from your agency. Well, now it's game on.
Go full on, dude.
Here's the agency that fired me and why. Because another agency is going to want to pick me up anyway. What are you afraid? I'm going to tell tales out of school. And this is the director that made me take my clothes off. I think there's enough woke directors that you'd get a job from it. I don't know. Say who the fuck it is. Say who it was.
I wouldn't necessarily say who the fuck it is because it's so layered. It's first you say things, then you say names, and now specific people start coming after you. If I
got Trey saying, I bet I made it up, and then I tell you who the director is, I bet you Trey goes, well, that makes fucking sense.
Well, yeah. That's the problem is you better have proof.
See,
that this happened before
Look at
you
this.
start saying names. Otherwise,
how do you have proof?
Come back and sue you. I don't know. That's not my problem. I'm not the one accusing people.
See, I wouldn't name names. All this shit gets even deeper and more fucked up. I'm not saying I wouldn't name names. I'm saying I fully understand the hesitation, and I have probably told stories without naming names because it gets even more exhausting as a victim when you name names. Mike G is worried that I'm agreeing with Trey too much.
He doesn't know why. He just knows that can't be good.
I don't think we were just agreeing, but we just sound friendly. It's the pop.
We were agreeing in that respect.
Don't say that.
What? Oh my gosh.
I would name it. I would name names. If I was in his position specifically, I would absolutely name a name.
And I think that's wonderful. I think it's great. And I totally believe you because you have in the past. And, good on you. Good on you. I just understand the hesitation. I get the clarity of naming names and I get like the full story of it. I get the closure of it, but I think it's a lot harder when you start naming names.
And then you say it happens a lot and it keeps happening to people, but you know a name you're not telling.
Yeah, I know.
Right. No, but I understand what you're saying, Hemda, because it can be. I said, somebody can come back and sue you or whatever. So it's like, and it's a whole that whole business shady side of it is like, well, then they attack you, then they start attacking you in the press and whatever else.
Now you're the only person who hates that director. Great. Yeah. That sounds like you're in a great position. So not only did it happen to you, then also all this other stuff has to come down to.
Well, and then because then you also look at other cases like the Weinstein thing, even like that clip of Courtney Love, however many years ago, straight up on TV being like, hey, that dude's a sleazebag and a rapist, and then how many other women had to come forward before Hollywood or the industry or whatever you want to call it was like, all right, we got to do something about this guy now.
Yeah, but and this is my advice, if Matthew Lawrence does name names, try not to slur them. Literally try not to slur when you say the names.
See, that's the problem is we don't take Courtney Love seriously because she is slurring, but maybe the reason why she's slurring is so that she can get through this fucking interview and then all of a sudden her truth serum is in her brain and she's like, add another thing. And it's like, well, I wouldn't have said this if I wasn't drunk, but maybe I wouldn't have been drunk if I didn't have this fucking history.
I mean, anybody watching that clip though, it's like that was a very lucid moment, as far as what she was saying. Like you could tell that she wasn't, that was just wasn't something.
Doesn't matter. Even if she wasn't, wasn't slurring, there's people you want to, if Meryl Streep said it and she was slurring and she was on acid, if she could have been on anything, somebody would have been like, holy shit, look into that guy. What the fuck? But
Yeah,
because
especially if she was on acid. I mean, then she was thinking super clearly at that point. You know what I mean?
Trey, think of the children, please.
Name names. I saw that movie, She Said. It's on Peacock now, I believe, by the way, about Harvey Weinstein. It's so fucking good. I don't know why I'm attracted to these stories, but you based on a true story, and you believe this is absolutely a true story. What bothered me about it a little bit, one of the heroes is Ashley Judd, real person, plays herself, reenacts phone calls and stories that she's told.
Wow.
Gwyneth Paltrow, they have her voice on a phone call shitting on Harvey Weinstein. I'm like, well, that's an actress because we only hear her voice. In the credits, I see it's the real Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm like, why not have your face? Or why not have your face? I think that would have made an even bigger difference. Why not?
Maybe she wanted too much money for the face.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't afford it,
It
so
came
she
down to a business
she
decision.
won't do this big important movie that she's already part of. I need another
Glop
movie
is
into my
tanking. I need
face.
more money.
Name names. Come on, man. Come on. Here's a little story. I wasn't trying to be funny. A man
Just
with
super quick, but
Yeah.
Margaret is saying it's sad we demand victims to be respectable in order to be believed. Like we are asking constantly from the victim. I understand the point of view, but we are constantly, act right when you tell them, and make sure that you have all of your story 100%, but you can't even like hesitate for a second. Naming names, is making you more the victim of this stuff.
I'm not saying, but I hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying it has to be just so. You're Courtney Love and there's a hair needle sticking out of your arm. Yeah, you might look sideways. Sorry.
But again, it was how she said it. Like if she would have told me, hey, I didn't kill Kurt Cobain, I'd be like, all right, she's lying. But that he was clearly telling the truth. That was coming from a very honest place inside of her. And anybody that knows human beings or could read a human, could tell that was the case. That wasn't just something she was pulling out of her ass.
I get it. And Keith, I know you're right. I just want to point out it's a lot to ask, even though you're right. That's all. And I think you know that. And I think that's what you just said.
Of course it is. But I'm telling everybody out there, directors, agents, I'll talk. I'll name names. I will name names. If you want to get a guy busted, you send me to him. He pulls some shady shit. I'm naming names.
Straight up snitch.
I mean, Keith has proved it over and over again. He has a book called The Dad Emails Book. He will read your fucking email, first name, middle initial, Esquire, the whole fucking thing. So yes, money where your mouth is 100%. I've never heard you shy away unless the people in your life have asked you not to because it's their victimness, and then you don't. But
I was telling
yours, you do. I know you do.
About a Somerset High School science teacher. That's where I went to school in Pennsylvania. And turns out he was raping kids. Somehow kind of got off, only got 7 years, but the word rape wasn't used. And so I said, oh, Stephen Schaefer, and I put his name in the show notes. And I just said, you know what? I like you said his name. Good. I don't want to just say a teacher in Somerset. It was Stephen Schaefer of Somerset.
Because especially those and all these other shady court cases, people that get charged with stuff and then they take plea deals or whatever. So then, like he said, then rape doesn't show up in the official charge or something, or you don't even hear about it because a plea deal was taken and nobody talks about it after that. Yes. Yeah. Say these people's names.
Yes. But, or it's nice that we get to, these kids that he was raping. We're not going to ask them to fucking rah against this. They're dealing with plenty. So we can say it. This is the story that happened. Here's his name. It's so much easier for us to say it.
I think every talk show interview with a celebrity should begin with the host goes, hey, before we begin real quick. And, we say this to everybody. Did you rape anybody? And then when they obviously say no, that's when the victims get angry and come out. So I think it's just to be thrown out there and asked, because I'd comfortably say no, of course not.
You miss Jerry Springer.
It's an idea.
Keith wants to fill in the shoes. Well, Jerry Springer's dead. There's a slot for people yelling names and throwing chairs.
This person wrote, I have a micro penis.
Oh.
He started an Ask Me Anything on Reddit. You know what? I bet you can't. I bet you. I've been, you know these open books. You've heard them on Keith and the Girl. If somebody tells me they're an open book, Trey, it makes me want to kill myself because apparently it's not the book I want to know about.
Yeah,
No,
you'll hit
it's
a
not
chapter.
their book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure I'd be like, hey, do you jerk off with 2 fingers with your micro penis? Whoa, that's what you're gonna ask me? Like the title was Ask Me Anything. Now I'm a fucking weirdo. Anyway,
what can I? Maybe this
yes,
is stupid.
you
but
can.
What constitutes a micro penis? Is there an official thing, or
There-
he just thinks his penis is small?
No, there has to be an official like
It has to be, right?
designation. Like it has to be under a certain size to be a micro penis. I'm pretty sure. Micro
Right?
penis is a scientific term.
I'll
So
take
there's
a
gotta
look, you
be some
guys.
How
stats.
about I
on
just
it.
tell you?
Oh,
How about I just tell you guys?
That's exciting.
Keith has
That's
already looked.
exciting.
I brought the
Fair,
story. How about I
Yeah.
tell you?
fair,
Oh, if
sorry.
you want, if that's what if that's where your life is going today, we're here for it. Sure. Yeah, we'll take this ride.
3.67 inches or less when stretched.
3.1. What does stretch
Wait,
mean?
when stretched?
You're
What
even
can-
allowed to stretch it if that can help cheat things.
What is stretching? What is
You stretch something, it gets longer.
But
I really thought it was going to be smaller than that. That's even
thought it was
when
gonna be-
stretched.
I thought it was going to be smaller than that. That's
Like-
a micro penis.
Yeah. You might make fun of them in the shower after gym class or whatever, but I wouldn't call it a micro penis.
You wouldn't
I
fuck
was
it.
Honestly, I was
Well, no, I
picturing
wouldn't
1
fuck it 'cause
inch.
I don't like fucking dicks.
I just heard about these
Right.
clothes you were wearing. I don't know.
No, yeah, exactly. 1 inch.
1 inch. That's what I would have considered a micro penis.
Yes, I would consider,
Yes.
but 3 pulled even.
I don't know.
Well, should have
Yeah.
voted. Nobody reads the whole ballot.
Hmm.
Whole East Coast. We voted on this 4 to 8 years ago. The average erect penile length for adults is 5.25 inches.
And so micro is like less than 2 inches than that. Oh, okay.
This person claims he doesn't give his real name that his penis is 1/4 of an inch while flaccid. That's over 6 times smaller than what we said a micro penis.
But that's
But it's
flaccid.
8 hard.
Who cares what it is when it's flaccid?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but
What is it hard?
I don't know that.
Well,
Okay.
we're only getting half the story here.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
like it.
he got less than half. Having a micro penis is so rare it only affects around 0.6% of the world's male population.
Okay.
How do you approach a sexual relationship when you meet a girl? Somebody asked. Like, do you inform her first or just go for it and pray for the best? And he said, I don't bother lying to women about my size, to be honest, but I like in the beginning stages, like those talk to get to know. Paul Stanley wrote this. I don't bother lying to women about my size, to be honest, but like the beginning stages, like those talk to get to know you stages. And if it's brought up during one of those sexy time talks, I'll be honest and say my size. Other times, like heat of the moment, just hooked up with a woman when it happens, and I'll take mine out and just hope for the best. But he never had sex, he says. He
Hmm.
never got past second base because it's always been a turnoff.
Really?
I mean, mostly every partner I've been with were kind disappointed. Yeah, but you never had sex though.
Yeah,
So
but you know
who's appointed and goes, but let's not have sex. No, I'm not creeped out that we took our clothes off. We're just,
And I mean, this is shallow, but what does the guy look like?
I don't know that.
You
This
know?
is-
'Cause,
hiding
like,
that.
could you imagine like Brad Pitt with a micro penis?
Right.
Yeah, but this is
Still, he'd do fairly well.
what else you got? Okay? Because that's what I want to tell everybody who's like, whatever, I don't have this, I don't have that. What else you got? You don't have height? Okay. What else you got? You don't have the longest penis in the world? What else you got? Because there are people doing it with less than you and bringing people to full satisfaction. Why don't you look those people up? Because before your dick could even come out, you can rock this woman's world. Did you learn anything about that? Don't take it out. Nobody wants you to take it out for a good long time. It's all about her for what? Can you imagine a whole month? A whole month you didn't take your dick out. And maybe
Foreplay
she
is
goes,
pretty
and then
fun.
maybe she goes, holy shit. If this is what you got here, what else you got? And you go, nothing. Who leaves you? What else you got? What else are you learning? There's so much focus. You talked about second base. Second base is all on top. So you've never felt anything, but your dick wants to do the right thing. How many fingers you got?
Yeah, that's
How
even
many
more.
have-
I was about to like this dude's probably got huge hands.
How much muscle in your tongue? Have you been working out?
He's got those
What you got? What
everywhere
you got?
all at once hands. That's what he's got.
Listen, a bunch of people
Right?
without penises have been making women fucking lose their minds, lose their jobs, lose
Name
their
names,
homes.
name names, name names. Now we're talking. I mean, I sort of felt it, and normally it's an awkward, embarrassing experience for them. I realized something was definitely awry when in high school, I realized that my member hasn't grown since I was younger. Dating and sex became a struggle. Most of the time, it's awkward. Yeah, well, that's what I want to hear about. Any follow-up questions on that? What do you do? When asked if he tries to pleasure partners in other ways that don't involve a penis, he said, "It's not easy for me," as the mood is generally killed when they witness his little dick.
Why is your dick out? You
Right,
only got
right.
to second base and your dick is out? Why is your dick out?
That's a good
Why,
point.
when you're feeling me up, is your dick out? How has it ever been out at all? Stop taking your dick out,
Well,
people with
hey.
dicks. Stop taking your dick out. Do not take your dick out on the first one. You know when they say like don't sleep with someone on the first date? That's bullshit. You could absolutely sleep with someone, but
If you want.
don't take your dick out. Make that person unbuckle your belt. Open the button. Do not take your dick out. I promise it'll take you longer for your dick to be out. Fucking store that shit away. Put
Well,
your
what
dick
if
inside
he
your
grabbed
pants.
a boob and she went to cop a feel and she was like, I'm having
Yeah,
trouble
that's how
copping something.
fucking hot and heavy this shit has
No,
been.
no, no, no.
That's how.
But that's what I'm
you're
saying.
picturing. That's what
No,
you're picturing.
No, I was
Figure
that
it
was more of
out.
a question.
No,
I was
figure
gonna
it
say,
out.
Like, Hemda, how many
Yeah.
times
Mhm.
you were with a dude and he grabbed your boob? Like, that was how quick were you to then be like, oh, I need to grab this guy's junk? That's my question.
A lot longer than you think.
No, right. No. I don't. That's why I'm asking the question. So, okay, now I know that. Now I know that that's not on the table for this guy. Like right. Okay. I gotcha.
We're talking
Yeah,
also
so then
about.
it was like, yeah, keep your pants on.
We're talking also about relationships. He's not talking about I pick people up at the bar, I pick people up and there's a one night stand and we're just trying to fuck. He did not say we're just trying to fuck, right? He's saying,
Right.
I talk to them, I have conversations, I got to second base. Why is your dick out? None of this is romantic. None of this is hot and heavy. None of this is sex. None of this is sexuality. There's no passion in any of it. Why is your dick out? Unless somebody has a bead of sweat coming down from now on, you do not take your dick out. Unless someone already screamed at the top of their lung or said, I can't anymore. Don't take your dick out. Stop taking your dick out. Nobody wants your dick out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Then how is it out again? How is it out again? Do you know how many humans I know that like don't want to be on top during sex because their belly roll or their boobs are not perfect or whatever? Are their boobs out? No, they strategically wear their shirts and stuff and they make it sexy when you turn around. How is your dick out? You hate it so much. It's out all the fucking time. Bad beef is saying hot dog. Bad beef is saying banana.
Man, him just really working through some shit.
Did you just nod, Trey, at the you wear shirts when you have sex?
Oh, sometimes it depends. Not all the time.
Right? You can't always feel vulnerable. You don't even always have time to take off half of your clothes.
Yeah, sometimes
your
you even know.
dick is
But I will
out.
say, like, yes. And it wasn't even a rule like I lived by. It just felt more comfortable to me. Like, my pants are staying on until the girl decides that she's gonna take them off.
We'll
Then
get there.
right.
Holy shit.
Because then that's the time when she decides. But
I
yeah,
promise you it'll be better. You want to blow someone's mind? Don't take your dick out.
no, unless she says,
Why
"Hey,
isn't
whip
he-
your dick out."
Yeah, why are you taking his dick? This is exciting. More and more exciting. And then it's like, holy shit, take your dick out. And it's like, oh my God, it doesn't even matter anymore. Everything's fucking on fire. Now we're just lit on fire. Don't take your dick out until everything's on fire.
Oh, here, hug. I'll hug him.
Thank you.
It'll be
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah,
He says that he doesn't foresee him undergoing penis enhancement procedures. Then who gives a shit? First of all, try every fucking pill in every gas station, bodega, and
Oh my
online.
God.
Well, if you give a fuck, then
just
if
get a
that doesn't
strap-on.
work, you save some money and you find a fucking doctor. What are they gonna do? Ruin your penis? Who gives a shit? I mean,
Well,
there's things to do if it's
No.
really ruining your life. No, yes. The answer is yes. If this guy commits suicide in 5 years, it's on Henda.
How
I
big is it
accept.
when it's hard? And
3.7. Oh no, that's right.
and then then just get a strap on or whatever. There's a lot of questions there. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know.
Supposedly, penile enlargement surgery is a thing, but what I've heard, it's normally practiced illegally. What I've heard, he didn't Google it, is my point. He started an Ask Me Anything, I'm ready to kill myself thread before he Googled about penis enlargement. What I've heard, who the fuck were you talking to about it? What I've heard is that it's usually illegal and expensive and high risk. I mean, as much of a risk as other surgeries, but it's very damaging to the part. They're not going to break it. Okay. Or it's the same.
But that's going to involve a skin graft of some type, you
Okay.
know, to add more skin to that area.
Do
If you're
it.
enlarging it, sure. But then I don't know.
You know what you should do? Weld 2 fingers together and fucking learn a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would depend on what kind of sensation I had down there during sex. Like, could I spooge fully? Whatever.
Is your dick smaller than this?
Mine.
Two
No.
fingers.
Not you guys, the Reddit guy. Because this does it for a lot of people.
Right.
Is your dick smaller than your tongue?
You still gotta fuck eventually, though. You gotta fuck eventually. Get your dick fixed.
No, right. But I mean, I am definitely sure that I've made my girlfriend more happy with my left hand than with my wiener.
In
Good on ya.
2020, micro penis activists launched Dinky One, and you can find it online right now, a matchmaking website that aims to combat penis-sized pressure by helping those with smaller phalluses find love. Well, that's the thing, though. You sign up there, and the women are like, they match you, and then you learn more about them. Yay, I'm asexual. This is perfect. Well, that's not the point. God damn it. Oh, well. Here's a listener letter. Keith and Henda
Hi.
and Trey is assumed. If you
You can
read this
listen
on
in.
air, please thank Anne in Boston, Massachusetts for introducing me to your podcast.
Thank you, Anne.
I was heading towards some deep sadness in the middle of 2020. I'm sure a lot of people were. And Anne introduced me to your sense of humor about COVID, breakups, gay rights, and just about anything I didn't know we're allowed to laugh about. What a relief.
Very cool.
I'd love to take some of your time for some advice if you would.
Sorry, gotta go.
I'm 38, right. We went too long on the don't take out your penis thing. I'm 38, haven't dated since the end of 2019 when I broke up with my almost 3-year girlfriend. I really loved her.
Mm.
She didn't have a vagina, but who cares?
Right?
She had a microgina.
She is a micro. She is a macro clit. I broke up with my almost 3-year girlfriend. I really loved her. She was so kind and so loving. I broke up with her because I was bored. I always looked for date ideas. I suggested trips, even sex positions, all of it. She went with most of it, but only if I did the research and took the lead. Now, thinking about it, I'm lonely. I miss her. And I don't see anything wrong with taking the initiative in the relationship. He takes it all back. He takes it. I see, now that I think about it, we all have our things. She fucks me sometimes, and I do everything. We are still connected on social media, and I saw that she just broke up with the person she was seeing for a few months. What's the harm in reaching out? Am I kidding myself? Thanks for your advice. P.S. I hope it's not weird to ask. Where are the episodes you mentioned about your divorces? That's interesting. How's it go with this? Thank you, Kimmy. Yeah, you didn't say anything to me. You didn't say anything, Kimmy, about what you miss. You just miss the company. So you're willing to do the thing that pissed you off enough to dump somebody after 3 years. That's what I heard. You guys?
I heard that she's nice, the ex, right? Nice, kind,
Nice
sweet.
and kind and sweet.
Right. I know that that's not a full personality.
She was kind and loving,
Mm.
but he broke up because he was bored. Or Kimmy broke up because they were bored.
Okay.
Yeah, that's then what? You're not going to get bored with them this time? I don't understand. If you want a friendship, cool. You want somebody to go grab some beers with or something, but don't get involved. Then you're just going to end up going.
Yeah, you didn't like this enough. It was a big deal. Now you're just lonely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Plus, you don't know how
Can-
they're going to react. Maybe they don't want to get back with you.
Right.
Well, it's the perfect time. They just broke up with someone, which,
Nah.
ooh, how
that's
carefully are you
double
watching
whammy.
that social
Right.
media?
Right.
Also, we could see you swooping in. I just broke up with
Sure.
someone. That's a swoop.
Right. Hey, if both of us don't find somebody by the time we're 39,
Mhm.
how about?
Well,
No.
okay, so do you believe in the getting back together at all? Like does that work? Broke up for a reason is what the phrase is, right?
I've never done it, but I can see it. But the problem would have to be solved. This person,
Rare
Kimmy does not,
cases.
Kimmy doesn't think this is going to be solved. Kimmy knows Kimmy's going to have to keep planning everything.
But does Kimmy now go, hey, was I being too frivolous? Maybe
you
I
weren't.
can do the planning and just accept this person is going to go along with the plan.
You
but
hate
not
it. It's
make
the
plan.
reason you broke up. You hate it so much.
Right. Exactly, Keith.
So no.
Exactly.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
find somebody that has
Like,
fucking ideas. A lot of them
If
do,
it's
believe
like,
it or not.
Hey, we were both immature at the time, and now it's a couple years later, but it's got to be more than 2, you know. Like,
Right.
I don't buy that, you know. So then, but again, those are rare cases where it's like, oh yeah, we dated and then we stopped dating and then we dated again.
Yeah, like in the past, let's see, 2019 or 2015, in 4 years, like is there a reach out that can say, hi, how you doing? Hey, did you figure out how to find a life and things to do?
Yeah, you go, hey, you want to go get something to drink? And then you guys go out for a couple of drinks, and after a couple Tito's and sodas, hopefully you have enough conversation back and forth to where you're like, okay, well, this person is matured a little bit.
Well, even before that, you go, want to grab a drink, and they go, yeah, where? And you're like, no, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Triggered.
You're the
warning.
same. You're the same. No, the answer is no. But a quick bang, sure. I mean, who gives a fuck? Everybody's a mess. I'm looking here at My Name is Keith. It's the show where it started. Me and the guests would get slam-basted. We'd get drunk, and it's so very fun. It ended with a couple sober episodes, including when I talked about my divorce. That's episodes 40 to 42.
Oof.
The Studio, The Suffering, and The Other Side.
Holy shit. I forgot it was 3 episodes.
Life moves on.
What was it called?
Well,
The Studio, The Suffering, and
Kat would have said, hey, talk about this feel free to talk about it on your show. And then I did. So then the show after that has to be like, maybe she didn't really mean it. She just wanted it to register to me, I think. And then Chemda was on My Name is Keith, episode 47, The Empath. She talks about her divorce.
Oh, you know why we called it The Empath? Do you remember that?
Because you are?
Well, that's how I figured out what a narcissist I married, because he kept calling me an empath. And I'm like, what does it really mean to be an empath? And I looked it up, and an empath, first of all, I think it's fake. I think like people could be empathetic, but I can't read your mind. It could look like it because there are tricks to that, but I can't read your mind. Nobody can. Anyway, an empath.
What's the tricks?
Well, I know patterns. I know I could read your face. I can take guesses. My guesses might be better than other people's because I take the time to study it. So it looks like I read your mind, but you were telling me all those things. So, and so that's how I found out. I looked up what an empath is, and it started telling me the kind of relationship that empaths get abused in. And I'm like, holy shit, this is the pattern that I'm in right now. And that's why we called it The Empath.
There you go. So there you have it. Those are the shows you can check out. Also, while you're there, check out the one called The Wife, in parentheses. Are you kidding me? Speaking of slurring, and why not take but James is slurring like it's the actual facts. What, he has to present to you just so? Just whatever he's saying, take it in. Just ignore all the fucking slurring and how he fucks his wife when he's asleep.
Can I just, okay, My Name is Keith is in our VIP program, which for people who we started our podcast in 2005. So there was no Patreon. So we built a VIP program. So it's just like Patreon. For those who don't know, for those who are in the podcasting world as of 5 years ago, it's our Patreon, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. And we have hours of extra content every week. And Keith's My Name is Keith is there, and those episodes are when we talked about our breakup.
So many shows. Now here's what you want to know about Trey Galyon, who you can follow online, Trey Galyon, Galyon.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing a show at Good Nights in Raleigh. That is May 12th and the 13th.
Yep. One show each night.
Red Room at Cap City in Austin.
Excited about that one. Going home. Home club. New spot. The old one closed down, and so then they reopened.
That's May 19th and 20th. Now maybe you're like, Raleigh, he's not too excited about. If you live closer, just go to that one.
No, I love Raleigh. Raleigh's
oh, okay. I couldn't tell. Okay.
Home of the Hartford Whalers.
All right. Seeing like one was like under contract or something, and then the other one you're really excited about. But you're excited about all
both
of them.
with the same crew. It's that the guys that run Helium, have they've put money into a bunch of clubs, and they helped get Cap City opened again in Austin. So props to them, man.
Now we're good. There's a beautiful mumbling at the end, but they'll figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a sweet voice. Now we're going to go through and see who got canceled today. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Okay. So Bad Beef is reminding us, hit the like button, y'all. But Keith is about to go through what we talked about. When you hear something you like, you hit the like button. If you hear something you don't like, hit any other button. I don't care. Hit the buttons. Here we go.
We got Paul Stanley saying, hey, watch out for the kids.
The 16-year-olds.
Stop. When you see your kid playing with a brick, don't immediately give them a penis if they're a girl. Let them grow up into that. Don't force it just for your parties. It's fun for a minute, but then they're stuck like that. So if all you parents can quit doing it, because apparently it's a fucking epidemic that even artists have to say something.
Boys. Don't put makeup on your little boys.
Or just because you see your boy put makeup on him doesn't mean that's it. Dick gets chopped off. Calm down. They could just be fucking about. Okay? Paul Stanley had to tell you. And that doesn't bother me when celebrities do other things. If you're a plumber, you don't always have to plumb. You can always also have an opinion on the government. I'm just saying, thank God he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think parents are out there. A kid goes through puberty. He sounds like a girl for a second. Cut off his balls. He's really a guy. Just calm down, everybody. It's a fad. Easy.
When you're a plumber, you don't always plumb.
Yeah, you could do other things. It's okay. Have an opinion. If something's this fucking serious. Yeah, I'm a painter, but I also have thoughts on healthcare. That's okay. It's all right that Paul's doing that. She drives me crazy. I want to give her what I've got. She's hot every day and night. There's no doubt about it. She's been around. She's young and clean.
Oh.
I've got to have her. Christine 16. I made it rhyme, by the way. But again, we'll get the thoughts on the monster, and then we'll know for sure where Kiss stands. So that'll
Bucho says, with consent, and then he adds, only when it's already on fire.
Only when what's on fire? Sorry.
Only when it's already on fire, because I said, don't take your dick out.
Oh, right.
Until everything's on fire.
Yes.
I got really passionate.
You had some names in mind. Let's see here. We got right. We got Apu over here. Trey's saying, "Hey, everybody's bad in that show, so who gives a fuck?" All right, that's one way to take it. What else do we got?
Oh my God.
Hey, they were fully racist to everybody. Remember that Jew stuff? That was pretty weird. So let it all go. Okay. Steven Spielberg is saying, sorry, I put walkie-talkies instead of guns. That was fucking stupid. I bet it looks so dumb. No, just leave it. We're not going to be confused. Guns at ET? He's cute. Matthew Lawrence. Trey says, doubt it. I simply say name names. You have a podcast. Give us a follow-up. You brought it up. Don't bring it up at all. You brought it up a little bit. Now I know if I do I work for Marvel now? But Trey knows it didn't happen, so who gives a shit? What name you gonna say? Since it didn't fucking happen. Micro penis. Kind of says it's no big deal. And that's the problem. It's no big deal. But I say, if it's really ruining your life, and I can understand it can. I'm not just saying use your tongue and fingers. The dick is something. The feeling's still going down there. Try every pill imaginable and start looking at the stuff in Mexico. Come on.
But first, try to see what it feels like with something else.
Right.
Just
try to be interesting.
An elbow, something.
How you it's strange that you did not have sex yet, no matter what. With anybody. That's strange. There's everything out there.
Yep.
Okay. It's odd.
How old is this guy?
12.
Oh. Would have been nice to know earlier.
Let's he did, but he's like, I am not growing into it.
Look, foreplay is an awesome thing, man. Explore that for a while. Don't worry
a
about
little.
Don't worry
A
about
little. You skipped over it, and they know exactly what your dick looks like. Ask him what a vagina looks like. See if he even saw one. Or did you take out your dick as soon as you start making out?
He refused to give his age. He said it was too personal.
Stop.
Okay.
All right, then.
This person says, hey, my name's Kimmy, and I dumped this girl because she couldn't play in a fucking party. What do I do? Should I live with her now forever?
Yeah.
Because I'm bored? No, you got to do the work. Okay. Re-download OkCupid. Stop it.
Turns out it's more boring just by yourself.
By the way,
her.
anytime you get off
maybe.
those apps, they save your info. They know people. All right. You don't have to start over. Don't worry.
Maybe she wasn't the boring one.
Ooh.
Ouch. Ouch.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, that's right. You're bored and want to come back and want to blame her for the Trey. One for Trey.
Mm.
Yay, I got one. Right at the end.
So here's what you do, Kimmy. You write to your ex and you go, maybe I was the boring one. Send. And then there you go. We'll see what happens. KeithAndTheGirl.com. Write to us at info@KeithAndTheGirl.com. And of course, like we mentioned, we're very proud of KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. Okay. Trey, great seeing you again. Thanks a lot. We're not associated with him, but it's fun when he jumps in on stories.
Love you guys.
Love you much. Love you more.
KeithAndTheGirl.com.